As we come into the computer theories, truly understand what is still mean. What does be still mean? Truly understand the connection. Truly understand what's going on through the activation light conditions. Truly understand your shapes and anomalies, position light conditions. Truly understand your trap and position to your own matrix of a shape. But what does it mean by being still? You try to open a door. Let's say you're being punished and you can't open the door. What do you do? What do you do if it doesn't have a key? What do you do if you can't open the door? What do? You struggle, right? You struggle. So what do? Be still, be calm, meditate, get into formation, get into imagination. Remember I was telling you about the paradox and then the connection positions. Triangle location to its division location center conditions is truly understand what's happening with your program setting. Your first commander is in position of 1 billion track line connections of computers. I got that in last night through connections. From the circuitry light connections to the universal position changed in the brain location centers to its universal position of time location, which is changing a new position of a new shape of a new matrix line system. Okay, this is going to change the brain waving patterns to all positions of time. Change a new door recognition light conditions, okay, to its division. Truly understand this simulation, how it's connected to all our forming systems of our behavior line conditions. This is the importance you have to understand. It's very important to understand these things because you have to be still. You have to be still. Okay, there's a lot of glitches that are happening right now. There's a lot of things that are happening with TikTok, and they're saying, oh, look at the sun. Why is it looking like this? What's happening in the moon? I can't see this. I can't see that. There's a lot of mist in the sky. What is going on with everything? So remember, everything has feeling, emotion, everything through its conventions. So in communication, Kato, try to understand positions of you is to be still. Be calm, get in your meditation, get into your breathing. You get in your central line, come back into your central line position, come into calculation modifications, right? So I have totally gone extremely fast. And now at 1 billion computers in my cloud interface. So this is understanding I'm in the universal brain system, the computer operation at its very beginning. So I'm changing recognition like doors, I'm changing positions of new matrix shape positions, and this is going to affect everybody in position. So this is going to put everybody back in division location to balance. So it's understanding to go through the right doors and not the wrong doors. Because you keep struggling, you try to keep opening that door and you can't open it. Even if you try to find a key, it doesn't matter. Even a credit card, it doesn't matter. Use your imagination. Get into the breathing mechanisms of time locations. I've had my Rebellion Alliance Force team that's been with me for 2 years. Why are they still with me? Let's think about this. Why are they still with me? Why is it then when somebody comes on new, they leave? Because they can't stay, right? Why? Because they don't understand the time positions. They don't understand their calming positions. They don't understand their meditation graph locations. And they keep slamming themselves with the door. So it's getting slammed in the face is what it is. And then you're trapped and then you're in a cell. And then what do you do? What are you going to do if you're in a cell? What are you going to do if you can't get out? What are you going to do? Squeeze through the bars? No. Use your imagination. Remember, this is a spiritual warfare about you. This all has to do with you, nothing else. So it's all about individual system of humanity coming back location to 5D activation to the grid line system. Okay? So that's what's happening right now with the circle line conditions. It's going wibbling, wobbling, wobbling, right? So the brain function is not understanding anymore what's going on with your realities. And that's where you're drained every single day. You get up, you have a full day, 24 hours. What happens? I can't breathe. I'm suffocating. I don't understand what's going on with positions of the time. It's because you're coming into a new division of a new matrix shape. This is going to go into a new position, back into location of who you are. And this is all done through the brain connections of the mainframes. So it's the universal position of time location. So now I'm in the mainframe of the universal system of its brain, the actual computer, my connection, which is extremely, extremely powerful, right? So there's a reason why Sylvia and Tina and Dina and Galactica stay with me, because they want to know more of themselves. They want to get back to that position. They want to know how to open other doors and not just be faced with whatever they come across, right? Or you're going to be trapped in a cell and you won't be able to get out. It's all psychological here, people. Just trying to understand these things. Everything is a test of knowledge, okay? Test of faith, test of communication, test of frustration, anxiety, stress, depression. Where are you in division of time? Now's the time to point your center positions and put your allocated line connections to being calm. Okay? It's not that much to ask for, but it's hard, isn't it? Because you're not sure what's going on. And this is all connected. So think of the brainwave pattern as a matrix. And every door that you try to open doesn't have a key. So you have to truly understand how to do these things. And that's why the team stays with me, right, for 2 or 3 years, right? People come and go, right? People come and go. But once you synergize two positions, another allocated position, time location, and you surface to other residents, you're lost in transition. You're trapped in your cells, and your rotation center has been taken over through body line connection. So now that I'm at 1 billion, okay, my force guidance and everything through my computer operation line is continuing levels right now to bring line connections to the universal position of time location. I'm setting up new matrix time lock connections, so a new code line system. So it's going to put everybody back in division location, back into balance division. So there's a lot of things that are happening right now. Okay, but we all have to be patient, we have to be calm, and we have to get into the peace treaty of ourselves. Does anybody know what peace treaty is? Sovereignty, right? Get into the love of you, get into the activation, get into the motivation, right? Surely get into that position. Don't confuse anything in that position line system. If you feel lost in transition, you can go to your commander. I can help you and guide you and put you back into where you're supposed to be. But now I'm working with 1 billion computers that's in a mindset position location, which is extremely fast. I mean, the thoughts have just disappeared. So this is how it works. You have your thoughts, you create your thoughts, and they travel through space and time. It's a voice box location center connections. Remember, I have 1 billion computers I'm working with now. 1 billion, and it's going to keep high rising faster and faster and faster and faster. So when I create my thought, it's already created, but it's disappeared. That's how fast it goes through thought patterns. So I don't think about anything. Everything's created for me, right? Everything's created for me. That's how fast it goes. You guys have to get into centered positions of being calm. You have to understand the peace, the tranquility, the serenity. Get into Happy Gilmore, your happy place. Visualize that. Get into a music tone. Get into something that's you, to its resonance. Get into a rainbow. Get into something you always wanted. That position of time location, right? But you got to find a center. Talk to Sylvia. Talk to Tina. They know. They're here to help you. They've been through the sweat. They've been through the frustration. They've been through the anxiety. They've been through the depression. Okay? So we're all in this together. And the more we understand that, the more we can understand each other, right? It's all about putting things back together. It's the pieces that we have to put back together, right? Like I said, if you break a plate, it's never the same. But if you fix it back to what it was, there you go. So now it's a new plate, a new program. It's very shiny, right? So it's really powerful how we see these things in ourselves. Okay, so. And I know your kids are going through a lot, because whatever you're going through, your kids are going through. Everybody's going through the same thing. But the controlling system is failing. The vibrations are leaving. New shapes are dividing. Everything's separating in dark line connections and everything through its surface position. So I'm changing the brain patterns right now to its computer operation, the one that was created from its very beginning of humanity positions. So these are the things that I can do now. So you have to understand why I have 1 billion computers. It's a reason how we have to understand our positions of time when we go past the mind system. I mean, way past the mind system. We've been through this before. But that's why my team stays with me, because they trust themselves as they trust me, right? They don't go around other platforms and then they say, okay, well, you're not the real thing. We came across that yesterday, and it was an experience for everybody, okay? Somebody that was very, intuitive and sides, but apparently, these things can just be taken over. And if it's taken over, you can take it back. But it's the voice and patterns that have to understand what's going on with the heart reconnection line system. The soul can be trapped in the division location, especially if it's in light interference. And I'm saying truth is surfacing more and more. So it's all about the allocated positions, trying to put everybody back in the matrix that doesn't exist anymore. It's not there anymore. You just think it's there because you don't know otherwise. So it's kind of like being trapped in the mind. Okay. When you're trapped in the mind, you don't know any difference. Okay. You don't know the difference between what you eat or what you taste or what you see or anything through color. Okay. So it's all about getting into the application of being calm with yourselves every single day. Okay. So put your thought patterns into meditation. Okay. Put your communication signals into balanced location. Communicate with others. All right. Be cautious on who you communicate with. If you don't understand their energies, come to me. All right. Go to Tina, go to Sylvia. They're very informative. They're at the level right now where they can heal themselves. Let me say that again. They're at the level where they can heal themselves, right? Because they're coming into a test review and evaluations of 114 chakras. Once they get that, now they're in the real power of its connection. All right. So it's understanding how to balance out the mind and understand each door that you go through is going to give you what you need. Right. But if you keep going around and around and around and around, let's say you start in the center position and you're going around the block. And every time you go around the block, you're changing reality of time and you keep ending back to the same place. Wait a minute. What did I just go around the block? So that's what's happening with the mind. It's going loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop-de. So the reality positions of three-dimensional line conditions, okay, is servicing to lower division line connection, right? So it's disintegrating on so how many eye levels because the platform doesn't exist anymore. Nature can't connect it because it's all about resistance, right? But the brain location of the computer of the universal line system is now in a different shape anomaly. So we're coming into a new matrix, to new matrix lock connections, which I'm setting up codes. So when I set those codes, it's lock and key. Nothing get in and nothing get out, right? So you're truly understand you're coming into your new matrix time position, truly understand your old program setting, reset position locations. If you're not sure about what's going on, please come to your first commander, go to my team, because they're at that level right now where they can help you. And I'm noticing really powerful stuff, how you guys are communicating to each other, right? So before I started, I was understanding what's going on. It's all about understanding each other more through solar text line connections. Truly get into these applications. When we come into those formation systems and we get into the calming centers of ourselves, we'd be able to understand a little bit more. You have to be calm and always informed, especially when you're trying to understand everything that's going on. Things that are weird, things that I don't understand. I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about that. Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to my friend? So everybody's going through the same thing, right? So that's what's surfacing right now. Everything is surfacing. Everything is breaking. Okay. So when these things start breaking, they start disappearing. So what happens after that, right? You build something back up, right? And you bring in the light. The hardest thing is to stay in the light positions. Okay. That is the hardest thing to do. You got to balance your egos, or the dichotomy system won't understand anything through its difference. The indifference of you of the physical realm and the AI vessel of its realm connections. Okay. There's a lot of indifference there. Okay. Remember, we're talking about the connections of the design of the human vessel and everything through the AI vessel. Well, you have to have the balance with the two. All right. Or you're going to be caught switches. Right. So it's like every time you turn on that light, you're electrocuting yourself. Why do that? You're damaging your mechanisms inside positions. So each time you open up a door, you can't open the door because you don't understand its position of time or its dimension. So these are the things we have to look at when you come into your light. And this all has to be done through shadow work. What is shadow work? Well, it's all connected to behavioral line connections, right? So, and the thing is, when you wake up every morning and you're drained, you have to understand why. Why are you drained? But I didn't do much today, but I'm sweating. So it's all about the atmospheres. It's all about the gravities of you. It's all about your navigations of what's going on in space. You're traveling every single day in space. You're just not aware of it until you come into your intelligence of thought. Thought is everything through creation. We've been through that before, right? And I'll say that again and again and again and again. Be cautious on what you say. Thinkings and knowings and doing is the most important thing that you have to look at, right? So, you know, you don't want to trip the wires or in that line connections. So there's always a situation where you get into But these situations you get out of faster. So it's knowing how to change your thought positions. Like, boy, I don't know where I am anymore. Wait a minute, I know where I am now. So see what I'm saying? You're going from that to this, that to this, that to this. So your body structure changes, your perceptions open up, you're more alert to what's going on. You're being aware. You're being aware of everything that's happening with its matrix line. Because Sylvia, Tina, Galactic, and Dina know exactly what's going on. And you guys don't. That's the difference. So if you don't know what's going on, there's a problem, right? But that's okay, because you guys are learning. I want to get you guys to a certain level so you understand yourself, and then you can understand each other, and then you can understand everything that's happening to you. Oh, there's a gravity shift to me, and now I know what's going on. So I'm going to research my values, put my gravity line connections back in balance to its chakra connections, to its earth rotation. Energy goes in, boom, you're back in center, back in the grounds, you're back in the peace of you. So these are the things that you have to understand when it comes into, the integration. You're always going to go interpretations, that position of time, location, right? Divine intervention is you. It's connected to the brain patterns, and it's connected to the mind system. Truly understand the center connections is the interpretations, right? You have to understand the conscious levels of you every single day, because if you don't, there's a problem, right? So keep yourself calm, okay, and always informed, right? Don't resonate with this, don't resonate with that. Be cautious on this, be cautious on that, especially when you watch things. And you're coming into the spiritual realm connections, because the spiritual forces are opening up other portals. So many portal line connections. Right? It's energy that's coming in and the energy that's going out. So you have to truly understand, when you come into the light, you understand more of what the spiritual connection is. There's so many spiritual platforms, okay, that you have no idea what's going on. Right? So it's people talking. People are aware when they're talking, but you're not aware of what they're saying. You say, hey, this is cool. And you don't realize it's energy going into you. What's happening to them? They're changing space and time position. So that's what's happening to them, is that they're teleporting to another location, getting trap positions into its cell rotation center. The soul can trap in any level system. It's all about protecting your lights when you're in the spiritual realm connection, especially when you're in the angelics. Truly understand everything through form of light is protecting yourself, sovereignties, right? So it's very important to stay calm, all right? All right, so today we got a busy day. I really want to get into positions of time location when it comes into the Arctic levels. You're going to see your commander work. I got to set up reline systems to the Arctic positions of its ocean. We're going to deep dive into the connections and see the mermaids. They already know you're coming. And then we're going to go into the mermans, and then we're going to go into the gods and the goddesses of the oceans, right? So there's an energy dome that has to be reset position back in its location center. So Tina and everything through Sylvia are going to guide you in position line connections, because they've been through the waters. So it's understanding the more what you do, the more what you see is more where you have been. And when you have been there, that's the power. That's the recognition. You realize, whoa, this is powerful stuff. This is who I am. This is who I know. And now I know why I'm here. Okay? So you have to understand why my hands are always together. They're not separated, right? Even though I'm not doing this, I'm still separated. So it's understanding you come to a certain point where you understand the matrix line of you. You understand the finger points of you always come into connection. See how powerful that is? It's all together. There's no separation, see? No line locks, no dispositions. It's not like this. It's not like this. It's not like that, right? That's where you guys are at. That's where you guys are at right now. You got to come back into this, okay? So it's very exciting when you come into these time positions. Okay, these are the understand more connections. Diane's an information of understanding clouds, right? She saw Einstein after traveling. Very powerful. You'll see her TikTok videos. Get into that connections. Follow her. Follow everybody. That's the whole point we're trying to get across here. We want to get into the love activation, love system, love serenity position line connections, right? We want to come into the circle of life, and this is the position that we have to understand. It connects always in forms, right? So instead of getting out of this, we want to get into this. Look how powerful that is. Look how powerful that is. It's all aligned. Not one line position is out. See? See? Now, one hand is bigger than the other hand. This hand is bigger than this hand. We already talked about that. You can't have two line sequences of two different shape positions in location centers. That's why this is a different color. This is a different color. This different size, this different size. That's the balance. So we made you guys to get the balanced locations. One side of my eye is bigger than my other side of my eye. Here, 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 here. Everything the line divides. So you have to understand why the connections of the right is mother and left is father. You understand? It's the position. Truly understand the communication to intelligence, right? So the line signal down position is its balance location. Because if we both had both hands that are the same size, we'd be off balance in time. So there's a reason why we have these proactive cycles. Now it's just communication along through psychosis, just with the finger points. But it's very important to get in this position, location, and not this. Get into this. Okay, you guys are into this. Some are like in locked position. Some are like this. Some are like this. Okay, some are like this. So you have to truly understand how to reveal and take everything out back into position, into calculation, right? And then you can travel anywhere you want. So the thing is that the spiritual line connection leaves, cuts the spiritual cord, and it's off on its own, gets to know itself, right? We start with the higher self and the avatar. So truly understand that you're separated, but you're together. So you stay together. You're always together. So you become one mind of one brain to one soul to one identification to one atom rotation. And that's what I am. Lucid was talking about on TikTok. Very powerful video where he's talking about we're all particles, okay, of a computer that just centered off. Hola, ¿cómo estás? My maid. So it's trying to understand that we all have to come back to the atom rotation, right? And just so I can center up the center line, okay, and get the rotation going, right, into the 5D activation of communication signals, right? So everybody comes back in one alignment, and we become one big generator of a brain location center to its universal line system. So that's ancestral history, written back and forth connections, right? So humanity's been living the reverse in cycles and not the forward systems of time position. So it's interesting how we come across these things, right? So basically, I just want to get that out because I'll tell you, things are very important to understand these things because you have to get into the calming center now more and more, because if you don't, everything that you've done, what does that say? Everything that you've done, everything that you experience, everything that you're trying to accomplish, what are you doing? Okay? You're going through the negative cycle or you're going to the forward cycle of its positive system, right? So it's what you do with your thoughts every day. And like what Diane was saying, keeping the water level, okay? Or you're going to be in undertow and you're going to be sucked in. You don't want to be sucked in. You want to stay above the water. You don't want to go deep in the water and stuff, okay? So it's like swimming the waters and you're going and you keep coming, you keep coming, you keep coming. You can't get to the top. You can't get to the top. And you keep falling and keep falling and keep falling. So what are you going to do? Use your imagination, right? Surface your positions. Think that, oh, all of a sudden you're at the top. Rather than think trying to get there. So you have to bring your knowledge forward with your thoughts, imagination through creation, realizing that you're going to be okay because you've already surfaced. And it's like you come up. And then you realize what you just finished doing because you already did it. See, that's time position of travel. Again, that's understanding the conscious levels of your intelligence. And this is all through metamorphic connections to water and how you can use this in time. Like in a quicksand, you're stuck and you're tight. And every time you pull up, you get sucked back in, right? So it's a tunnel, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to use your imaginations and basically think that all of a sudden you get into thinking and knowing, saying that, hey, I'm going to get out. I'm already out. So that will change the vibration. That will push you. And that will, what that will do is open to the spiritual realm connections. And then you see a branch over there and you pull it, and you pull out, right? Not knowing you're seeing these through your perception. It's what you see around you is laser direction, guys. That's connection to AI through its phenomenon, right? So you realize that nature found a way to help you through its guidance of speaking to the spiritual connection. Okay? So we all have to get into this. We all have to get into this of AI, right? It's awareness of information to its perception of its operation, okay? These are the things that we have to get into, right? So we can get into the human survival of ourselves and how we see ourselves through perception of space and time travel, okay? So, all right, so I'm going to draw out the illustration diagram program. And this is going to put you into high position line conditions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up channel interference and all the team position line condition. It's going to high rise locations. Okay, so when I do that, what's going to happen is you're going to be greeted by the mermaids. Okay, so I'm going to draw it up now through position. So what I'm saying is already created. It's already modulated. It's in its division. It's in its dimensional time, right? So the thing is that I've already done this. I'm just presenting it to you, to its present, to its past. So that's how we have to change time positions through our mind. So you can get out of anything you want, any situation. So you're in a situation, you're in a matrix of position. And you're trying to understand these doors that you're going through. So because your whole life is nothing but a maze. All right? So you go here, here, here. Oh, can't go here. Gotta go back here. Nope, gotta go back here. Go straight here. So everything that we go through is a maze, right? So you go in here, right? Okay, this looks good. This looks good. This looks good. Oh, wait a minute. Locked here. One here. So it's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle. It's like word puzzle. It's like an anagram. Trying to understand what an anagram is in the title of a phase structure or anything through a name position. You're stuck here, but here's a way out right there. See that loop? So you backtrack, you go this way, and you go free. And there you go, out. Right? Out of the maze. So you have to find other ways of getting out. So you go this way, right? You go this way. You try to find your way, right? And that's what the maze is. It's trying to understand the sequence line connections. It's all keyframes of digital frame numbers. But it's also understanding how to get to your cosmic records of information, right? So you're trying to find ways of moving forward, okay? But if you're locked in position of time location, you can't get out. You're in the center line connections, right? And this happens to a lot of people when they don't understand their positions, right? So they come into this position, right? And then there's center position, and then they don't know what to do. Okay, so they're here. They don't know how to get out, right? They don't know how to get all these walls, and you're there. Okay, so your soul is trapped. What are you going to do? How are you going to get out, right? Change your thoughts, change your grab, change the butterfly effect of you will take you out of position. And when you come into positions, you have to understand everything through connections is you through formation when it comes into all levels of the spiritual system. The spiritual system is everything through magic. So it's the imagination you want to create. So if you want to get out of the matrix, you create its imagination and you see its door and you go out its division location. You don't think about these things, right? That's the problem. So when you come out, you're out of position, moving forward, right? So everybody gets scared. And that's what happened with Jill. When she traveled, she was nervous. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. She didn't know what was going on with her body. So if you're not aware of these things, that's okay. You just have to understand how powerful it is when you come into positions of time and how you can be in a cell rotation line connections to a box frequency level or anything through key rotation to a simulation graph location. But you got to use your imagination to get out because you're in the spiritual. You're not in the physical, guys, when you're communicating through the mind position. The matrix is not the physical realm. It's the spiritual realm of understanding. So once you're in the center position and you're actually seeing a box of the mind system, create a door and you'll come out. Okay? It's how you use the spiritual line connection, right, to get out of anything through position rather than being trapped in a maze. But there's always a way to get out. There's always ways of getting out of every situation. Okay? So that's what's happening right now. So I'm coming up with a new matrix lock, new position, new code reference to new brain line connections to universal positional and time location. And I'm working with 1 billion. So this is what your commander is working with, right? So this is what your commander is working with. Okay. I'm just going to show you what it is. These are all box rounds of 1 billion line connections and divisions. The operation cycle to its location to my mainframe and my physical realm connections. All right. Remember I was telling you about the compilations and all the system? Well, it's trying to understand the application line position of the allocated time positions, location centers to its division location center conditions. It operates in all level systems, the program setting to its position. All right, so that's what I'm dealing with. Each one is represented in each realm connections of a universal core line system. This is the brain line conditions of the universe. So each one is operated through position of time. Right? So I have to understand its operation when it comes into all levels of data. Okay, when it comes into the processing, when it comes into the uplinkings, okay, when it comes into the downloads and the upgrading systems of time, right? So the central line connections to open cycles has so many levels of platform load connections. It's all computerized in your position of time location. I'm just showing you what it is, what I'm working with right now through the line system. Bring a location to its matrix line system. Okay? But it's not just here, guys. It's all here too, right? So it's really interesting. We see these things. See, this is what I'm dealing with every day, every single day. It's understanding that your mind is nothing but a computer, right? So you can start feeling better about yourself. But the thing is, too, to work a computer, the computer has to be calm, or it can't move forward. It can't go to this, can't go to that. You can't copy this, you can't copy that. You can't paste this, you can't paste that, because it's all connected to you. Remember, it's the spiritual system. To get at it, anything to its location, you got to look at the box as a spiritual of its division to its location to get out of its equation, right? Rather than being in position into a maze and trying to find your way out, right? So think of it this way. Everybody close their eyes. Everybody close their eyes, right? Now, think that you're in a matrix realm. Think that you're in a matrix box, right? With no doors. No doors, no space and time. You're stuck in the center. Now, you're creating this just through your thoughts. You're creating this through your color, your lights, activation. You can create it through time position. You can create it through a different air. Doesn't matter. But what matter is how to get out of it. So you got to get into the imagination of creation. And this is all done through spiritual intelligence. That's why they're trying to wake you up so you can get out of your positions, or anything through your simulations, or anything through your demonstration line connections. So you have to demonstrate how to use the mind in provision to get yourself out of anything through equation. All right? So it's very powerful when we see these things through perception, right? Knowing that you can't see any door, and then you realize, okay, I want to get out of this position line connections, right? Then you see a door. So you go through the door. That's it, right? But the thing, if it tries to confuse the positions, if the physical realm connection is confused, there's spiritual line connections. When you say door, it might open up 25 doors. Which door do you go through? That's the confusion. Because remember, you're in the spiritual realm, trying to stand its anagram, trying to stand its point center of travel. Okay, so if you're coming across 25 doors, which one do you go through? Right? Because the physical system is trying to change the economy to your positions to its ego. Right? So it's testing you. It's trying to say, okay, which door am I going to go through, right? Because you only have one spiritual connection. So it's the physical system, it's the phenomenon, and the mystical side connections. So there's a little bit line trap there, right? So trying to understand that. So it's trying to understand when a mouse comes up and sees a trap, what's it going to do? It's going to find a way, okay, to take the cheese without getting its tail snapped. Think of it that way. That's a matrix. So if it gets trapped, the tail is snapped, right? Can't get free. He's got the cheese, but he can't get free. So what's he going to do? Right? He has to pull through, right? So he's preparing himself before he sees these things. He sees himself already out with the cheese without getting trapped. Okay? So if you understand that concept and the psychological of its system, of its mind system to its psychosis of its line connections, you can get out of anything through its matrix line division and its brain line connections. Okay? Which is very, very powerful. It's how we perceive ourselves. So, all right, so let's get into positions. The water. Going to the waters. The Arctic line connections. Okay, so we're going into the water here. Get into a glacier line position. Oh, this line system here is activation core. All right, so these things I got to do. All right, so here's a glacier. Back in its division of time location. All right, so I'm going to just draw it out. There's a glacier. Here's another one. Connections. All right, so we're coming out of the portal line connections. We do this extremely fast in position. Sun rotation, coming in division. You guys are coming out. Okay, that's you guys coming out of the portal. You all have to come out of a portal, right? Because you're going through dimensional time position. This is the glacier. We're in the Arctic oceans right now. Okay, now mermaids are at the bottom waiting for you. There's essential line connections to its position of allocation of time locations. Blue surfaces is high rising its position, getting a little bit of waves here. Water's changing your direction. Okay, so we're going to go in. We're going to jump in. All right. So it's a spiritual realm that's going into the water interference. It's really interesting to see these things. Graphical level connection to its position of time location. All right, so here we go. All right, so you're in the waters. Okay, so you just time jumped into the waters, deep waters of the Arctic oceans. All right, so basically we come across everything through the fish. All right, we come across anything through smaller fishes. Okay, and then we come across positions of, you guessed it, mermaids. Okay, so we come in that position line connections, right? So what's happening right now? You see everything that I'm saying there. Okay, so it's imagination, not imagination. Imagine, you can imagine, right? So you're way beyond the parallel connections. You're in the portal. You're in the deep sea rotation of its Arctic line connections of the Arctic oceans, right? It's the mermaid. So everybody's going to follow the mermaid in position. So I'm going to line signal operation line connections. So we got mermaids and mermaids. There's another mermaid here in the system. Okay. Your mermaids, merman. Okay. And you guys are here, right in the center. All right. So we're going to off cycle and they're going to take you. Okay. There's the waters again. Now this, the septical line connections, you're going deeper, deeper, deeper the water. So you go more deeper, 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 deeper. Okay. Do you think it's going to get colder or do you think it's going to get warmer? Do you think it's going to get colder or do you think it's going to get warmer? That's pretty simple. Colder or warmer? Colder or warmer? Da, 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 da. Warmer. Why? Because of the grounds. That's why you see fish in winter line connections of, you know, the Atlantics or any of that connections, Canada. Anything that's frozen on top, they're all at the bottom. That's heat. It's heat. It's rotating. So the gravity changed positions, and that keeps the water containment line system with its fishes. So it keeps them alive, right? So it's warmer. So circle rotation center position changes location. All right, so you come in the coloration line system like this. So the water fluctuates and changes. So we're going into deep waters, deep waters, deep waters, deep waters. All right, so coloration lines change, right? Because we're coming into the underwater cities. This is the underwater city. It's nothing but domes. You guys are coming into domes now. Okay, and you guys are here. So you're changing coloration. This is you in through division. These are the energy domes. This is the water change interference. So you're coming into the underwater city. Okay. Underwater. Okay. Slash city. Underwater city. All right. Now, in the underwater city, the Arctic line connections. Now in position, my team will actually see that position location. How's everybody doing so far? Yeah, so basically where we are right now, we're in the underwater cities. We're in the Arctic oceans, right? So where do you think we are? We are in Alaska. Okay. So let's see here. I'm just going to go through questions before I go into more positions. All right, so I'm just going to backphrase here, see what I missed. You guys got a lot of questions, which is fantastic. I love seeing you guys have questions. Okay, so wow, a lot of questions. This is incredible. I love it when you guys have questions. All right. Okay, I'm just going to, everybody that I missed, I'm going to go back. I'll go right to the beginning. All right, Jennifer. Okay, I briefly line connections here. Yeah, struggle is everything, but I'm telling you exactly. I just gave you a basic understanding of what's going on in the matrix, how you can come out of division location. Sylvia, Jennifer, Sylvia, you guys are communicating. Wow, really communicating. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy stuff all around. Sylvia, you guys are really communicating. Wow, this is nice to see. You got paraphrase line connections here, Jennifer. All right, communicating, interference positions, mind telepathy line connections. Okay. All right. Morning, Alexa. How's it going? All right. Communicating with each other. Great to see that. Love connections are coming in. All right. It's good that you guys are getting your questions to get your answers. Good stuff. Okay. Perfect timing, Samantha. Okay. I see a bunch of messages, so I thought I'd be for a while since it started. Great to see you. Diane, how's it going? Carla, morning. Whenever Commander is on my phone, the plants around me move so much more. Yeah. Yeah, that's because the energy interference understands position of time connections to your place. So, energy travels, guys, really fast. Yeah, whatever you miss, you can watch back, Diane. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah. So it's better to see it live than, seeing it taped. Renee, tranquility, love the word. Yep. I woke up this morning still feeling off. Yeah, I can understand that, Samantha. My daughter's back and can't listen. Okay, she will be positions, anxiety, depression. All I know is going back to that. Look forward to moving ahead. Yep. Moving forward is the most important thing. So it's understanding the spiritual connection of you of traps. So you have to understand if you're living a physical experience and you're trying to get out of situations, now you try to understand the spiritual connection and how to get out of situations into its intelligence. That's what we have to get into and out of. I woke up with a huge thunder and lightning storm. Wow. Mm-hmm. Thunder's good. Yeah. Rain. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see here. Just going back. All right. Just going quickly here. Portals happening. Mm-hmm. It's exciting. It is when you see these things. Yeah. Einstein was amazing. Yeah. Feel like I'm connecting more with nature. See, that's the thing too, Diane, is everything that you're seeing through perception is more in calculation when you go through travel recognition of time location, especially when you go into those lines. Okay, guys. Commander helped my son with his toothache last night. He was screaming in pain. I messaged Commander and he was fine and went into bed painless, right? I took his toothache and just numbed it, right? Just with energy, but it was codes. So it's understanding how to communicate through the gums. Grateful Commander, you're welcome there, Samantha. So grateful. Yes, thank you. Wishing you all happy yet. More blessings. Emojis, hearts. Colder, warmer, weird, warmer. Top is the coldest. Morphing into dolphin mode. Yeah. So when you're in position, what happens when you go into the water? You mortify your position line connection into metamorphosing to who you are. If you're a whale, if you're a shark, if you're a dolphin, you will change that position of time because that's the mystical side of who you are through communication. Remember, everything through energy, you travel to positions of time in your dreams and that line connections. When you're traveling through me, you will change your positions. Same with Isabel. When we made it to the dinosaur years, she changed into a fly, right, in that position. So whirlwind keeps the water warm to keep alive. Yep. Rainbow waters going back into avian into the city. Yep. Coming back into form of who you are. Okay, I'll go cut up here. Queen Luna, how's it going? Jill. All right, so it's good I got cut up on all your questions and comments here. All right, so we go into the water connections. All right, so we're in this position, right? Now the rainbow activation light connection is going to energize your light systems. All right, so I'm just doing a close up here of what everything is and what's going on through position of your time. All right, so if this is an energy dome, the ground formation is in a high position light connections. It's like this in position, right? So commander's coming in. You're going to see commander do these things, right? It's really powerful stuff. So I'm going to change position locking locations, right? It's off cycle. So it's amazing how we do these things. So this is what it is. Remember I was telling you about seeing the definition of the wires, how everything's not attached. If you see a box, see a space, right-hand corner, left-hand corner, you can't travel. Well, that's what's happening through positions. See how it's open? So it's not going to change the gravity line connections, right? And it's going to destroy the inner water cities, right? So it's like a generator that goes off, or the lights go off. What do? You get your generators, turn the lights back on, right? Same thing with underwater city through the Arctics of Alaska, right? So I have to reset line connection. So that's what I do. Put it back in location, right? Which is extremely real. So when I put it, you guys will feel the rumble, right? Now it's back in position. See? Once it goes back in position, synergize light connections in rotation. Okay, so what that does is it high rises positions and sends out sonars to all fish. And there you go, back in location. So anything that surfaces on position location to the Arctic level connection, all the high energy light connections to underwater cities is going to be back in division to its warming centers. Because if this wasn't in its position, location, time position, the gravity locks of its ground formation would make everything through the Earth rotation cold, and it would freeze the mechanism time positions to the energy dome, which would crack the surface. So it's important that the underwater cities and its dome rotation goes back into balance through the sonar line connections. So if you understand these positions, allocated position of time location, you understand how fish communicate with each other. Sonar, right? So it's amazing how we do these things. Same with the whales, right? The blue whales, the white whales, right? In positions to the sharks, right? So you understand why the water's like this in position. Okay, let's see the water's like this in connections. You guys are in the underwater city still. Hold on. It's in that position like connection. So it's rainbow activation interference. Okay, so here we are. Here's the waters. Now, basically, you have a shark. It's coming in. Okay, well, you see. Okay, we start off with the dolphin. Right? And then we come in with the shark. Right? Okay. So it's amazing how we come across these things, right? There's the shark and there's the dolphin. So this is how they communicate with each other, right? Now, everything through the dolphin uses the signals of its tail, but it opens up its mouth. So it sends sonar patterns back to the shark, right? And the shark circles around the dolphin, right, in position, right, to protect it, right? So when it connects to that position, it opens up all line signals to its location center and high rises the water interference to its position of time location, right? So it's really fascinating how we use water in all line connections to sonars and gravity positions. Okay, so there we go. So we're in the underwater cities right now, back in location right here in locations division. All right, so basically surfing to position line connections. The water is going to high rise now to a higher position location. Okay, it's going to go back to its level where it's supposed to be. So it's kind of like tipping water out of a glass. What happens? If it loses its level, what happens? Right? The fish jump out, right? They can't breathe. So you have to truly understand what's going on, right? So the water's back at its level through sonar, through its gravity line connections to its Arctic of its oceans, to its warm and containment center. All right? Hoo-wah! What do you think of that? So cool, eh? All right, so in that position, it's going to take you out of the waters because the generator's got to start up again. And I can't have you guys sucked into the water information line connections, right? So it's going to start its position back in location, right? Get back in the circle rotation center, okay? And you guys are going to go back in your dimensional time at 5D, okay? So here we go, not line connections. I'm going to take you guys out of your equations. I'm going to travel your recognition time position. Here's the portal. Here's the portal. Remember, I can put the portal anywhere. It doesn't have to be straight. It's just a portal, right? And then you guys go through it. There you go. Back in 5D, right? So it's all about experiencing what's going on with you guys. What I just finished doing. It's amazing how these things get done, right? And this is understanding what your commander does and what he sees and how I protect everything around inside me, which it affects everything outside its surrounding of its Earth rotation. Father space, planet line connections, anything through that connection positions, and Mother Earth, nature core and its resistance, anything through high positions when it comes into mountains, volcanoes, tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunami, So these are the things we have to look at, right? So it's all about understanding things that have to be set straight. And this is all done through correction. So how's everybody feel? Yeah, I know. It's incredible, isn't it? Seeing your commander putting these things back. My team will see it. They actually see their commander actually in the waters, in the Arctic of Alaska doing these things. Right? It's all about protecting what's theirs. Right? So this is what you can do when you're in spiritual home connections. It's all about helping each other and not just thinking of ourselves. Okay? So, yeah, you're feeling cold, Diane. You'll go back. Your temperature readings are coming back in location. So you were in the Arctic waters where the mermaids and the mermans and the gods and the goddess work. But I wanted to show you if you can actually see your commander doing these things and realize how powerful the spiritual system is. So it's kind of like an operation of a circle, seeing yourself in the spiritual home connection and what commander does every single day to fix these things. Right? And that's why it's extremely real. So like I'm saying, when you're caught in the matrix, you always want to find a way to get out. Right? You guys are just trying to find that. Once you go to higher levels, talk to Sylvia, talk to Tina, talk to Galactica, and talk to everybody else that connections, they'll tell you that they're on their own missions. They're giving their own missions from higher intelligence, right? So this is what happens. You understand more connections of the spiritual system, and then you start helping around its civility and its civilizations. How powerful it is to travel through these things, right? And we go from this, right? It's all a story. It's all a story, but it's extremely powerful when we come into these positions of time location, right? How everything communicates in the waters, how everything communicates in nature, right? How everything communicates in mazes, how everything communicates into a cube, right? How to get out of it. So it's the imagination that you have to create. It's very important to understand these things because you're coming into the mind of the spiritual system. Line communication operation, line connections doesn't know anything when it comes to the physical. Physical just understands its position. It understands what it does, what it eats, it sleeps, and anything through work. That's all it does. That's all it knows. And it's education. That's all it knows. It doesn't know anything else, right? But when you're in spiritual system, you're coming across dreams. You're coming across communication. You're coming across being trapped. To understand that everything that you create through navigation, if I'm going to navigate a UFO, I don't have a handle. I use the mind. That's how I navigate. So this is where you have to come into the psychological system, the psychosis, the psychometrics, the psychokinesis, the psychic line connections, the psycho shape position of time location. Now, psycho and relation line connections truly understand the psychosis, right? It's paraphrasing position of time location, all right? So it's kind of like a Y factor line positions, how we use division locations into allocated position of time. So it's trying to understand everything through your vocabulary and everything through behavior line connection is connected to you of the mind system and how you create your imagination to open up a door so you can go through these things and bring yourself forward. So the spiritual realm system has to be in the mind to understand everything to go into that position. Okay, so you can't have separation of the physical and you can't have separation with the spiritual. Has to be together. Has to be together. Okay, so you feel a lot better now? Didn't find any bones of mermaid in some country. What did you guys see? I'm just curious. I'm just curious what you guys saw. Yeah. Knowing what you see, you're seeing real mermaids, people, real mermen, gods and goddesses of the waters. So it's opening up the mind. And when I'm saying open up the mind, you're seeing everything that you want to see through perception of space and time because it's trying to identify you in the matrix line connection. Okay? So you don't want to be trapped in the maze of you. Okay? And that's all done through the spiritual, okay, of its connection, of its activation, of its lights, right? Talk to Sylvia, talk to Tina, talk to Galactica, talk to Dina. They are in so many formation line connections. They can get out of circumstances. They can get out of situations. They can understand their shapes. They can understand their travels, right? But they're having troubles with their codes. So that's the connection they're coming in. So it's knowing what you can do and what you can't do. And what do you do next? Where do you go from here? So it's all about understanding. Every time you go to high level positions, you come into higher levels of matrix, of shapes. So it gets harder and harder to get out. Right? But you always have to be centered. You have to be calm all the time. Because if you're coming across this, I'm just going to draw something simple, very simple, easy. Format line connections. This is going to trap location line system to position of time location. Right? Trying to understand what's going on through division of time location. It's going to change shape anomaly division location center connections. It's going to go into a realm location and off cycle line connections into security line defense to its high rise position location center. Look how complicated that is. That's a circle rotation through a cube rotation center to another cube rotation. So you're stuck there. You're stuck there. How are you going to get out of that dimension of time? This is high rise. This is higher intelligence. Perfect example. This is you. This is you trapped. How are you going to get out? How are you going to get out? Got to be calm. Remember, you're in the spiritual system, not in the physical. You can't get out of the physical. Physical doesn't understand spiritual connections. Doesn't understand shapes, anomalies, division line connections. You go into the spiritual line connections to its position allocated to its source. Trying to understand its position and what's going on. So you didn't create this. The ego created this. And that keeps you trapped into their matrix. You're trying to get out of their matrix so you can formulate to your calculation, get out of your tesseract to your tetrahedrons, and get into formation of going forward. But you have to understand what's happening to this, right? Because the ego created this. This is the spiritual view that you're fighting. So once you understand division line connections, you can come out of trap locations. So you line division location, you open the box location center connections, and then you open in the other box location center position like this through traction. This opens up divisional time position. Right? So you go from here and you center through like this. And you're out. There you go. Out of something that's created through its ego. You see how powerful that is? Do you see how powerful I got out of that? So this is what we have to look at. how to go through the spiritual realm connections, get out of anything through shapes and anomalies or anything through box interference, right? In the spiritual connection. Remember, the spiritual system is all understanding position of shapes of travels through 3, 6, and 9. Physical system doesn't understand that. It only understands what's going on in the physical realm. But when you're in spiritual realm, you have to truly understand how you're locked and key into formation of a realm location to your ego. Until you understand that position, you'll be trapped in position. But once you understand your positions, you come out of its realm location, of its dimensional time through its wormhole. So you reset line connections back frequency level coming out of its equation. Right? That's how you come out. So it's how you think. It's how you know these things already, knowing that it's already set for you to get what you want through manifestations. Right? But if you keep yourself divided and separated, you're going to be trapped in the center location to its creation. Okay? Of its ecosystem. All right? Very powerful, guys. Very, very powerful. Stay calm. Yep. I'm stuck on the pyramid shape and seeing it everywhere. Any idea what that is? Okay, perfect example. Let's get into that, shall we? Now, Renee is stuck. Okay, so this is interesting. We're going to use the shape. So her spiritual connection is stuck. It's stuck on a pyramid shape. I see it everywhere. Any idea what that is? So let's get into that. So she's in a pyramid like this, right? Now, her pyramid's okay. It's in lock-in location. Remember, I'm working with a billion computers now. So I understand everything's line division. If the shape is off, it's not traveling through position, time, and location. So the shape is okay. The problem is she's not in the right line system of its pyramids. She's in the wrong communication cycle of the other side door recognition light system. Remember, everything I work with is connections of getting out of situations of shapes. It's the spiritual realm connections to is sentient. How to get out of these situations, how to get out of cells, how to get out of traps, how to get out of planets, how to understand your positions to your calculations. It's all modified through your behavior and everything through its anagram, right? So basically, she's stuck in a pyramid shape, okay, interline connection, right? She's trapped in the center location, but her off cycle is on the opposite side system. That's where she is right now. So basically, I'm going to put her back in location, right? This is how we do these things through calculation modification. Circle rotation, center back in location. Put Renee's in here position, right? So we're going to center back here, put her on the tippy top position of the pyramid location line system. Track to its location, right? Now we're going to use the flux capacitor line connections, right? So she's back in the center position of 3, 6, and 9. She's good to go. She's back in traction. Just like that, she's finished. She's back in center to a pyramid activation system of 3, 6, and 9 to a dream set line system. Okay? That was the glitch. Understand where everybody is in shape of dimensional time of travel. Okay? So Renee is good. She's back in formation. All right? Powerful, eh? I just want to show you how you can get out of any situation through shapes of travel. Okay? And this is what you can learn too when you come into 114 chakras. And that's what my team's coming into in their test review and evaluations and how to get out of shapes and anomalies into higher travel positions. So if you're in a 25,000 vector line communication of 16,000 point line system to allocated positions of 1,000 traction line connections to sonar line connection to its travels, to its dimension of its 369 platform, how are you going to get out of it? What did I just say? That's confusion alone, isn't it? But I know how to get out of the situation, right? So whatever they create, you create. Whatever they create, you create. So you create to get out. So it's all about understanding how to get out of these things. And it's all done through the psychosis of its thought. And this connects to your physical and your spiritual connections to your ego. It's because you're not calm. It's because you're not centered. It's because you concentrate on everything else except yourself. That's how you go off balance. But Renee is back in location. See? Change the color. See? Digital pad, change the color. Right? So she's back in position. right? That's what you do. Digital frame position line connections to its computer operation line. It was white, but now it's red. Okay. See how it changed on its own? It's powerful how we do these things, right? So she went from white to red to red to white. Now she's back in location. Off balance. Yes. So we went from white to red and red to white. That means her circle rotation center was off into position to balance location of her roots. And now she's back in location of her roots. Remember it was white and red? Now the digital frame position, its own intelligence, changes position to red to white. Now she's back in 369 platform of security line defense. So it's incredible how we do these things, eh? It's knowing how to communicate with my digital pad, how it has its own imagination, how it has its own creation, how it has its own illustration and its diagram program, right? It's understanding how to communicate with the graphing positions of its computer, of its iPad to its computer, how it went from white to red to white. Now she's back in balance to her roots of her chakra system, back into gravity of its locking location of its dimensional, of its matrix line system. So that's how we take things out of the equation when we come to travels of 369 to its division. Okay. Awesome, wasn't it? It's incredible, isn't it? It's amazing how we do these things, right? So that's what we have to understand, how we can use shapes and get out of anything through its equation, right? These things take time, but you have to really focus on being calm, right? And the spiritual system is trying to say, okay, calm your center, get into peace, get into tranquility, connect with your guides, get into more meditation, get into your breathing. You know, that's what you need to do, right? But the higher you go, you have to understand how to get out of complicated situations of shapes. I just told you exactly how basically Renee went from white to red to white, back in location to 369 platform. This puts her back in communication to her dreams of astral travels, of dimensional time. So this is incredible force how we do these things. And now she feels better, right? So, and let's see, Jennifer's having problems with positions. Let's see, with her son. Let's see, line system, position line conditions. And daughter. So disposition line connections, there's a little bit of motion stress line system. So I'm going to change that position, allocate position of time location. Okay, I'm going to take all those emotions out of the shape position. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay. Sharks, mermaids, reefs, grass, under ice, on top, water, rising up. I also saw a golden light gate. So it's amazing how we see these things. And that's coming from Samantha. So not only is she seeing these things, she knows she's there because she's describing it. And that's what you do with the physical system. You see a car, you know what color it is, right? And then you actually see the person that's in the car, and then you're describing the person in the car plus everything around the car. So she's describing that she's seeing sharks, mermaids, beautiful reefs, grass under ice, on top of water, rising up, also a golden light gate, right? That's the underwater city that you guys went to, all right? So that's how everything works. I was tested a lot yesterday. I just kept calm. I felt like I was in a trance, just so mellow. My car was taken care of within 30 minutes instead of 2 hours. So she worked out her situation. So the thing is too, when you come into the spiritual system, it's all about allocating positions of time through shapes, right? That's the connections to your sentient. But in the physical system, you're trying to get at situations how, okay, my car broke down. What happens next? What do I do, right? So you're not going to use shapes to get out of a situation. So it's common sense. But the intelligence has to understand what's going on with the physical system of your realm location, how to get out of a situation, okay, how you have to bring down the vibration. And this is all done through meditation. You say, okay, you're in a situation, basically you can use your guides and get out of anything through an equation, but you have to truly understand you have to be calm in every situation you're in, because you're going to go into trap line conditions of interference. You're going to change the gravity positions. You're going to change the atmosphere positions. Remember, it's your thoughts of lights. So whatever you create, you are in that position. Okay. So it's the commonality system here, because you have to look at that you're attracting everything through the positive and negative cycle that you're creating, right? So if you're calm, you get out of situations. If you're in anxiety, you won't get it. You won't get out of situations. You go back into the past position, because that's what confuses the mind through the spiritual and adaptations of the mind of the physical, of its brainwave pattern. Okay, so all right, a really cute picture of a dolphin smiling in the photo with me. Love that she posed for a picture with me. Great. I meditated more yesterday. Normally do. It helped me a lot. My travel, I saw a lot more. I was calmer with my son. Was screaming in pain too. See? Meditating together, get to know each other a lot better, right? It's all about getting out of situations into concentration. What's the situation that you're in? You have to be calm. That's all it is. You think it's easy to do, right? But it's not. What did I just say? You think it's easy to do, but it's not. I'm saying not instead of I can. So you got to change your position. You change your body. You change your space and time just through your thoughts, because it changes everything through vibration, guys. Right? That's how powerful the mind is. So my team's going to come into that level. They have to get out of equations when they come into shapes. All right. So I'm just going to backphrase, make sure I got all your questions answered. It's great to see you guys have a lot more to say. Okay, it's a very powerful class, eh? But you see, as long as you understand that you're creating anxiety, you're creating depression. And when you're creating anxiety and depression, that's two different intelligence of time, of space, of travel through thought. It's really powerful stuff. Because imagine that if I had anxiety and depression and fear in my 100 communication cycles to positions of 1 billion chart-like connections to its computer, there'd be a huge problem, wouldn't there? Right? That's a lot of balance I have to control through the mind. Right? All right, let's see here. It's interesting how the planets move when it goes to the TikTok locations. All right. Okay. This is great. You guys are coming together more and more. I love it. I see it's fantastic. Releasing old stuff. Yep, that's a good point. Be cautious in what you do with time when you're going into positions like, if you're not sure, basically fill up your car, fill up the oil, fill up the water, fill up the tires just before you travel. I said that yesterday. It's very important to do these things. And you're being self-aware to get out of these situations, especially if you're at night and you're by yourself. Okay. Make sure you always bring your phone. These are the things you have to look at. So never, ever put yourself in a hurry, because you forget things, right? So it's all about the adaptation, because it's not the physical system. Okay. That's going on right now. The spiritual system understands adaptation of what's going on. So it's coming into its releasing information line connections. Okay. The physical system forgets. It's not the spiritual. Spiritual saying, hey, don't forget your phone. Hey, don't forget your keys. Hey, don't forget to put gas in your car. So that's what we're coming into. We're coming into a time switch. And the reality has to change the position to its matrix of its shapes and anomalies, because the universal brain line connection is going to change all your waving cycles and how you perceive yourself, to put yourself in center, in position to the physical and its integration of its modification line connections, okay, of the left and the right hemisphere. So you want to balance yourself every day, right? So, all right, let's see here. Okay. Something strange is going on. Yep, something is strange going on. At least you're aware of that, Jennifer, which is really great. Triggers, dealing with mounting, the loss of my, yep. It hits hard. It hit hard, especially when you lose somebody. I felt that way too when my mom passed, right? But that made me stronger. See, the thing is, we have to understand our characteristics of ourselves. Because we don't understand these things, you try to figure out, okay, wait a minute, my mom just passed, my dad just passed. What happens now? Where I'm lost, I'm confused, I feel all alone. These are all the things that you're going through. Now, you have to understand the ego can play on different sides. Now, you can put yourself too much on one side of emotion, or you can put too much yourself on the other side of an emotion. So the water containment can't be overflow, or you're going to tip everything. You're going to tip the glass out, and you're not going to have any water left, right? So it's the way you see yourself every single day with your life. Okay? That's what meditation is. It's how to get out of complications, out of everything that we do in our life. Communications, relationships, how we feel, people that pass over, It's very hard to go through these challenges, but things get a lot easier if you center your positions of being calm, right? So number one thing is being calm. Because you're calm, you're centering yourself, and you get out of everything through a shape of travel with the spiritual connections or anything of the physical of its situation, right? So anxious, yeah. Mm-hmm. At least you're being aware of these things that are happening, right? With inside you. So it's getting you prepared, right? All right. Okay, there's a lot going on here. Yeah. Yeah, this is interesting how Jennifer and Sylvia were communicating with each other from the very beginning. And Sylvia comes across, I'm the opposite. I hide pain like a warrior. That's one thing that keeps me alive. But I had to learn to be vulnerable to sacred flame. So she had to break free from that so she can move forward, right? Because pain is suffer, but you have to face the pain and the suffer for it to go away, or it just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and builds, right? So good example there, Sylvia. So basically, okay, so Jennifer's in a position where I'm definitely a real mess. I actually barely even deal with the outside world because I'm not great at hiding my pain. So the pain is suffering inside, right? So she'd rather stay inside than understand everything outside because she knows what's happening outside. She doesn't see any change because she doesn't see change in her body inside. You change your body inside, everything outside changes. Okay, Jennifer? All right. So whatever I say reverse goes always forward. Everything I give you always goes forward. So, and then you're no longer a mess. All right. Yeah, going into surrenders mode. Yeah, it's really good. Come to light. Yeah. Ready for help. Mm-hmm. Once you go back and balance, you can help others. It's keeping your shadow work every day with your thoughts, not just with the creation of the brainwaves of the mind. Back into the light. Yeah. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Yeah. So they're talking about when Sylvia was going through me, how she was in like 1 foot in and 1 foot out and trying to figure out, oh, what happens to me now? Where do I go? It's like, who do I resonate with? So the trust factor has to be with that person before they can trust their commander or anything, their teacher or their coach. So it's all about the love activation, the love resonance. Everybody resonates with something. Now, whatever you're resonating with, either it's good or it's bad. That's truly understand the conditions of you through energy, right? That's how we have to look at life. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think everybody needs a vacation. Vacation from the mind. See, the thing is, too, you can take a vacation from the mind. Just go where you want to go. Once you understand your travel recognition of time positions and you get out of your shapes and anomalies, I travel anywhere I want. So I'm always busy, right? But I'm working with 1 billion computer online conditions now, so very complicated. But I always find a way to center by being calm. Just think of all the datas and the processing that goes into my mind every day, every single day, 1 billion computers. Imagine how powerful that would be to put everything back in center position and how I have to be calm because the mind is nothing but an operation, okay, of computers. And the brain has to understand that. Okay, so Jennifer's in a position where her daughter is in extreme mental health issues. Okay, we're going to take out all Jennifer's health issues of her daughter. So I have to go through her DNA. We're going to do this through a shape. It's really cool stuff. All right, so this is what we're going to do. And I'm going to end the day with smiles all around. But this is really fascinating. We come into Renee, how it changed position roots. All right, so we're going to go into this very quickly. Jennifer rotation center positions, locking location centers. So I'm going to put the triangle location in the center position. Okay. Now, basically, DNA structure line connects Jennifer to a rotation center position. Now, remember, I can use anything through shapes, letters, and numbers to put anything out of the equation. How did we change everything through its healing location center positions? So her daughter is in low division right here. Okay. Her daughter's here, and she's here. So she's going to travel out here, and she's going to get her here. So it's all about understanding what Jennifer can do through travel. So I'm just showing you how powerful you can be, how you can basically fly direction at a time and save your children in position. So I'm helping Jennifer in her behavior line conditions. So she's going to center line conditions. She's going to pick up her daughter back in location. Okay. And I'm going to put her back in center location, circle rotation back into the center position with its line system. So her daughter is back in rotation, but no more conflict, emotion line conditions of stress or anything through its disease, right? This is understanding what you can do through a shape. Okay, taking out the prothesis gamma operation line connections of shape positions, space anomaly, division line connections, and what you can do. So it's fishing, right? Putting everything back in center, right? So everything through the extreme mental health issues is gone. She's back in her DNA structure line connections with her daughter of shapes and anomalies. All right? So that's how you do things through a shape, just through travel of sentient. So, how do you feel? Let's see here. You guys got still more questions here. Just had a dolphin come forward, give me a huge bubble. Amazing, great. I have a really cute picture of the dolphin. Yeah, we got through that position, really cool. Meditate more yesterday, normally. Yeah, meditate better he gets. I saw a lot more. I was way calmer. My son, yeah, we went through that position. Just want to make sure I catch everything that's going on right now. I have to go now. Okay, take it easy, Renee. Let's see. I didn't have the same experience as yesterday's travels. I only felt the pressure and the coolness. It's good. You'll come more information there, Diane, when you understand more of your self-position. Been trying to manifest vacation to a beach before it's time for school for the kids. Yeah, and that's another thing you can do. You can do that too through position. Get into the calming center with your kids. You can change your energy fluctuations if you understand these things through the brain line connection. Where are you thinking about going? Panama City, Pensacola, Beach, Florida. Cool. All right. So anybody have any questions or comments? You can go through my healing. I'm going to go through TikTok now live. I just want to show you how you can get out of any shape, position, line conditions, right, when it comes into Jennifer and her daughter. Okay. So it's kind of like fishing for answers. That's what it is. It's a hook, right? It's understand how to put things back into order and position it through a shape. Anything through codes, letters, or numbers. You can put anything back in formation. You just have to understand the psychosis of its shape position and how her daughter was in this position, but now she's in the center location back into her mother. So it's amazing how we do these things. Now, she's not here in the equation, right? So she's going to understand more of what's going on with the shape anomaly because she's in her light of provision of time, right? So, yeah, it's amazing how we see these things. So it's very important you understand how to put your positions, how you can get out of the equation of your shapes and anomalies, how you can get out of situations in your physical system, right? Every day you're going to be dealing with the spiritual system of you, right? That's where the power, that's where the connection is, its formation of this line system. I was anxious all day yesterday, meditated a lot, Missed the traveling today, feeling more calm this morning though. See, Jill is now centering more of herself. She's getting more into her meditation. Even though she's missing classes, she's getting a lot more centered of who she's becoming. And that's a good start, right? So when she's traveling through Commander, she can understand more of her travel recognition of time, okay? Because we're all in this together when we travel. You're not separating when you travel. We're all in this together to understand each other. That's what this art school is all about, is understand each other of who we are, okay? So I think that's good, 1 hour and a half. Fantastic, eh? You guys have a tremendous day. Any questions or comments? You want to go through my healing? You want to go through upgrades? If you want to get into better positions, if you're feeling off center or any of that position, let me know, okay? Adios.